All right, stop what you're doing. If you're over 55, please, before you take your next magnesium bisglycinate supplement, you have got to hear this. Because, and I'm not kidding, if you're making just one of the 5 common mistakes we're about to go over, you could be taking one of the safest supplements out there and turning it into a silent problem. A problem for your heart, your kidneys, and yeah, even your sleep.
And you know what the worst part is? Most people they never even realize it's happening. Your body might be sending you little warning signs right now. You know, that numbness in your hands, that weird fatigue you just can't shake, or that muscle tension that never seems to go away. See, those might not be signs you need more magnesium. They could be shouting that you're using it completely wrong. So here's the deal. The supplement industry, it's a $4.5 billion business. And what they don't really tell you is that how you take magnesium is just as important as the fact that you're taking it at all. We're talking about timing, dose, what you take it with. All of these things can literally flip the benefits on their head.
So you're probably asking, well, why didn't my doctor tell me this? And look, it's probably not that they're trying to hide it. The truth is, according to the Journal of Biomedical Education, the average doctor gets less than 19 hours of nutrition training in all of medical school. That's not a lot. So today, we're going to fill in those gaps. We're going to count down the 5 most critical mistakes, and we're going to rank them from just kind of bad all the way to catastrophic. Now, mistake number 3, that's the one most people are making right this second, and they have no idea. But mistake number 1, well, that one was highlighted by researchers at Johns Hopkins, and honestly, it's pretty shocking. Okay, but before we jump into the list, I want to tell you a quick story about a guy named Gary. Gary's a 67-year-old retired firefighter, super active guy, loves his garden. And about 8 months ago, he started taking magnesium bisglycinate, just like maybe you are. And for the first couple of weeks, things were looking pretty good. His cramps were getting better. But then, by week 4, they came back, and this time, they were worse than ever. And his sleep, the whole reason he started taking it, it was even more broken than before. He told me his energy was so low, he felt like his legs were full of wet sand. See, Gary wasn't just adjusting to the magnesium. No, he was making mistake number 4, and he had no clue. All right, so let's get into it. Let's break down exactly what was going on with Gary, because it might be happening to you too. We're going to start our countdown with mistakes number 5 and number 4. Okay, coming in at number 5 is a big one, taking it at the wrong time of day. So a 2022 review in the Nutrients Journal, they tracked over 300 adults, and the results were, well, they were really striking. The people who took their magnesium in the morning, they only absorbed about 34% of it. But the people who took it 30 to 60 minutes before bed, get this, 71%. That is more than double the absorption. Why? Because your body's metabolism is just in a totally different state at night. And that brings us right to mistake number 4. This is the exact one Gary was making. He was taking it with calcium. He'd wash down his magnesium with a glass of milk, or he'd take his calcium pill at the same time. Now here's the problem with that. Calcium and magnesium are like 2 people trying to get through the same tiny doorway in your gut. They compete for the exact same transporters. And research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that this little competition can slash your magnesium absorption by up to 52%. So you're basically paying for a supplement that your body can't even get its hands on. Okay, we're moving up the list now. These next 2 mistakes, they're a little more subtle, but believe me, their long-term consequences can be even more serious. All right, mistake number 3, and this is probably the most common one I see, taking your entire dose all at once. See, your small intestine, it has a hard limit on how much of that pure elemental magnesium it can actually absorb at any one time. And that limit, it's only about 120 to 140 milligrams. But what does the bottle say? Usually it says to take a 400 milligram dose, right? So what happens to all that extra magnesium? Well, it just sits there in your colon, and what it does is it pulls water in with it. And that causes what we'll politely call digestive urgency. But it's actually worse than that. This unabsorbed magnesium can actually trigger a low-grade inflammation in your gut. The solution, though, is super simple. You just have to split your dose. And now for mistake number 2, completely ignoring your vitamin D level. This is so important. Here's the thing. Your body literally needs magnesium to switch on your vitamin D. It has to convert it into its active form, which is called calcitriol. That's the stuff that actually does all the good work. So if you don't have enough magnesium, that expensive vitamin D supplement you're taking, it's basically useless. But wait, it actually gets worse. Researchers found something really alarming. A 2024 article in PLOS One, it showed that when people with low magnesium levels take vitamin D, their risk of vascular calcification, that's the hardening of your arteries, it goes up by almost 29%. This is serious. You absolutely need to get your 25-OH vitamin D level tested. That's the standard blood test your doctor will use to see where you're at. And that brings us to the number one mistake. This is the one from that Johns Hopkins review that honestly made me realize I absolutely had to put this explainer together. Okay, listen very carefully. If you are taking any of these medications, we're talking about fluoroquinolone antibiotics, bisphosphonates for bone density, or common thyroid medications like levothyroxine, you need to pay very, very close attention to this next part. The danger here is it's profound. Taking magnesium bisglycinate anywhere within 6 hours of these drugs can block their absorption by 60 to 80%. Let me say that again, 60 to 80%. This isn't some mild little interaction. This can lead to complete treatment failure. Your doctor prescribed that medication for a reason, to protect you, and you could be unknowingly shutting it down. Please, if you're on any prescription medication, talk to your doctor or your pharmacist about this. Okay, so let's circle back to Gary. Remember his story, feeling like his legs were full of wet sand? We fixed his entire protocol with just a few simple tweaks. We had him take his dose about 45 minutes before bed, we made sure he took it far away from his calcium, and we split that big 400 milligram dose into 2 smaller ones. So what's the solution? Here's a really simple protocol that you can try, starting tonight. Take about 200 milligrams of magnesium bisglycinate, roughly 45 minutes before you plan to go to sleep. Super important, make sure it's at least 2 hours away from any of your other supplements. And here's a little pro tip. Take it with a small amount of warm water, not cold. And the result for Gary? It was amazing. Just 6 weeks later, he told me, and these are his words, "I haven't slept this well since I was in my 40s. Look, this isn't a miracle cure. It's just about doing it the right way. It's just science. So now I have a question for you, and I promise you I read every single comment. I want you to tell me, how old are you, and which of these 5 mistakes were you making? Just drop a comment below, your age and the number of the mistake. That's all. I really want to know if this helped you connect some dots. Thanks so much for watching.